my name is Martha Barrios, and right now I'm making a video on suicide. It's a topic that a lot of people are very uncomfortable with talking about. Most people don't know exactly what it is, so my video will be a little insight on what it is, what suicide is, what some symptoms are, or the feelings that people have that want to commit suicide, what treatments or cures are out there, and how the survivors of suicide feel. So first of all, I want to say that it is a very hard it was a very hard subject to research, because I absolutely think that people need to love each other and be there for one another. And it's really hard in today's society because a lot of people are more involved with self and not towards helping other people or trying to see how they can give to others, how they can help others. It's always me, me, me. It's a me, me, me world. It's a really kind of narcissistic world here, especially in America. So let's look at the feelings that some people report to feel. Intense feelings of anger, despair, and hopelessness are the most common feelings that people have reported that think about committing suicide. Now, some behaviors that you may see in these people are panic. They tend to talk about suicide. They see no hope for the future. They do seek help. Some of them do seek help. They self-loathe. They get their affairs in order, and they prepare to say goodbye. So these are some of the behaviors that are seen in people that are contemplating or planning to commit suicide. So I want to also follow with some facts. So this was taken by Patrick J. Sherritt from the Harvard Health Publications. So suicide really most of the time happens out of the blue. Some people don't see it coming. For example, a friend could have been feeling fine, acting fine, went out with you to the movies, and then 3 days later you find out that they committed suicide. So sometimes, most of the times it does happen out of the blue. And the reason being is because people commit suicide as an impulse. It's an impulse reaction. It's an impulsive act. So some people who have committed suicide, they do have a history of an identifiable mental health problem. Some examples of mental health problems are depression or addiction or both. But then others don't. So it's really like a half and half situation. Half of the people that have committed suicides plan it. They talk about it like, I'm going to kill myself. I don't want to be in this world. Things like that. But then the other half don't say anything. Now, like I said before, many acts of suicide are impulsive. The decision is made minutes or hours just before the act. So another more on facts is more than 100 Americans commit suicide every day. It is the 10th leading cause of death overall. It is the third cause of death amongst young people 15 to 24 years of age, and the fourth cause of death between ages of 25 and 44-year-olds. Some of them, again, I'm going to go ahead and go back to this. Some people give hints that they're going to plan to kill themselves. But again, some are really just impulsive acts. They just get to that dark place and they see no other way out. That is their only choice. So what are the causes? What causes someone to end up to the last resort of ending their life? And the answer is, I've researched it, no one really knows. I researched about survivors that try to commit the act, but thankfully didn't accomplish it. They really don't have any explanation, just that they were in this place that they just had to end it. Experts never get to talk to people who have died from suicide, so that's another thing that hinders health professionals to not really know the cause of depression. There are biological explanations, just such as low serotonin levels, but those are just guesses, and it could be an imbalance of chemicals in our brains, but again, that's just a guess. Now, just want to point out the survivors and what they have to say. Dr. Miller quotes, "People who are most intent on committing suicide know that they have to keep their plans to themselves in order to carry out the act. Most people in need are the toughest to save." Now, that is just very upsetting because, of course, if you have a loved one or a friend that needs that has the signs, or that you kind of feel like there's something not right, because that's a lot of people do feel that something is wrong and you want to help them out, but they're not going to tell you because they don't want to be helped. And that's another thing that we need to work through, find ways to reach people that can't be reached. So what is the cure? How can we find a way to make suicide history, to make it non-existent? So survivors describe suicide like the following. They say that it is a decision made out of desperation, hopelessness, isolation, and loneliness. They feel lonely. They feel hopeless. Again, it goes with the feelings. And some people say it could be temporary feelings, but at the time, people don't see it as temporary. They see it as a long, forever type of state. So this is what a survivor said that would be helpful to people that are going through depression or just wanting to end their life, for either it could be tragic event in their lives, a divorce, a death in their family, or death of a spouse, losing your job. Everyone reacts different to different things, so we do have to be sensitive about how people react to certain events. We might think it's not that big of a deal or not tragic, but to them it is. So we have to treat it as such. So the few things we can do is listen to people talk, make eye contact, convey sympathy, and be human. How many times do you see yourself walking around and no one says hi, hello, or anything? It's very rare for people to even acknowledge one another out in the streets. And it's very sad to see that. Yes, there are some days where you really don't want to talk to anybody, but just smiling is enough. Just acknowledging people, opening up the door. Random acts of kindness goes a long way, because you never know what a person could be going through. And especially it could be a person that is planning or deciding whether to end their lives or not. Check in on friends struggling with depression, especially. Be present. Get resources. Again, 30,000 people commit suicide in the US and 750,000 attempted. And I don't know if it's because of lack of love towards others, but I do know based on the research that people don't have self-love to begin with. And then, so if you don't have self-love and then other people don't even give you love, you feel like, what's the point? What's the purpose to live? This is ridiculous. I don't love myself. And, you know, I try to always put myself in the mind of a person that has depression or a mental illness. I always try to put myself in their shoes. What are some of the treatments that we see nowadays? A psychologist says to target the person's suicidality. So, target the person's suicidal thoughts, their attempts, their thinking. Target the person's suicidal thought. Also, an approach is to teach skills that help the person regulate and tolerate their emotions, because this is out of impulse. It has been proven that it is out of impulse. It is a feeling. It derives out of all these extreme feelings that people can't control. Dialectical behavior therapy, DBT, has also been used, as long as well as cognitive behavioral therapy, which teaches people to calm themselves down when triggered so that they can survive on their own. So any impulsive act or thought or any impulsive feeling, they learn to either, breathing techniques, meditation, or just to stop and think about another thing that's more positive. And last but not least, share the responsibility for his or her survival. So as a friend or as a healthcare professional, which I am pursuing to be a nurse, I do feel like we should have a responsibility for people that are trying to make suicide the only way out. I believe that there's hope, and I believe that the only way we can have other people see that hope is to bring it to them, to make them see it every day, not to give up on people. And this is the end of my video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that the next time you walk out and you see a stranger, or even if you see your friend, family members, just remember to love on them, because you never know what they're going through, and you never know if that will be the last day that you see them. I always have believed in living every day as it was your last, and loving on people, forgiving quickly, loving tremendously, and being very sympathetic and empathetic towards everyone, regardless of your view or your opinion or your beliefs. Always try to understand other people, because we're very different. But that's the beauty of being human. So, hope you enjoyed this video. Take care. Bye-bye.